Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're doing a Terran versus Zerg today. More of Artosis' ladder story. We're bringing you games that were played right at the end of 2025. So this is a TVZ of his against a player by the name of Krisky. Very decent A-rank Zerg player. And I must say I've done a number of PVTs recently, so I'm actually quite excited to be doing a Terran versus Zerg. I've been watching JJZ, the new caster, watching a couple of his games, and I'm just absolutely thrilled that he's doing so well considering he's so new at casting. Usually YouTube can be quite brutal to new YouTubers in general, but it's amazing to see him doing as well as he is. And I watched one of his games yesterday and he's actually just comes across as such a nice guy. He's got that lovely Canadian accent and seems to just really love the game. I heard him shouting at other casters, and yeah, actually I think he just seems to want to see Broodwar thrive, and that's awesome, man. So it's been weird to see a new person on the block. I think a lot of people have had an aversion to joining the casting scene in general, but he seems to have an interest in Artosis' stream and his games, and that's where he got his start. But now he's expanding to players like Fantasy and Scan, and his players, when he's casting Korean games, are doing way better than what my Korean games are doing. My best performing games by far are Artosis games. By the time this one comes out, we will have seen how our Toggle's game has performed, and I'm curious to see what happens there. But at this stage, I'm starting to look like I'm going to be destined to be Artosis' super fan. So yeah, here we go. It's a very enjoyable casting his games. I do troll, but not in a malicious way, and a lot of the times I do genuinely try and give some critical feedback without trying to act like I know more about the game than anybody else, just voicing my opinion, hoping that it encourages you to share your opinion of what you could have done differently in the comments with me. So yeah, we've had a pretty standard start here. We're on knockout 1.1 today. Everyone's doing this little double wall in forward start, and it looks like our Zerg is getting their lair going. I'm not a huge fan of this pool placement. I suppose you could argue that it makes the mining better, but it looks like they just zoop off to the side here every time. So you tell me if that's quicker or not. I'd actually be interested to know if there's anybody who actually knows that for sure. I've turned down the headset volume. So for those of you who have ever done anything in OBS, if you adjust your headset, the sound that you guys are hearing in the background will come through softer. And the microphone theoretically will come through a little bit louder. I was listening to a couple of the tracks playback recently, and I just felt like the music and the gameplay was just a little bit too loud when compared to the microphone. It now might be a bit soft by comparison, but let me know. I'll get the threshold just right. I think I might have turned it down slightly too much, but it should be okay. Something else I wanted to ask the community at large is, if I have a game where Artosis has played somebody multiple times, do you want me to release them, if they're obviously good games and they're entertaining and worth watching, do you want me to release them as 3 separate games, or do you want me to do them as one all-in-one video? So you guys would have seen the foot fetish video with I Love Trisha's Feet versus Artosis. That was a 3-game PVT. It was about an hour long. Right, so part of me is wondering, obviously at the time that this video comes out, I'll have an idea of how that video performed, but a part of me is wondering, should that not rather be 3 videos that I just release back to back, so 3 days in a row, giving you a bit of space and time to watch them? Or do you enjoy watching the series all at once? So let me know. I would really appreciate feedback on that. It just helped me a lot in terms of how to compile and strategize the content. So we've got some speedlings, we've got our Spire on the way, Everything here seems pretty standard. I have seen Artosis die to just relatively basic muta harassment, getting himself supply blocked, not getting his turrets up on time, stuff like that. I'm hoping we don't have any such dramas in this game here. We will see. We're getting our +1. We've got our academy. No, we don't have our... Of course we have an academy because we've got scanners. Where is the academy? That's right here. You're blind. Okay. So we've got our academy. We're getting our marine range. So everything is looking very crisp from Artosis' point of view. And our first mutas are on the way. So everything is looking pretty crisp and normal from our Zerg's point of view. So we're recording at night after work as opposed to the morning on the weekends, which is obviously the other main time that we record. And it's a little cooler now than it has been in recent times. So a cup of coffee is the beverage of choice for this evening's cast. Mutas have arrived. I'll get rid of the panel. Don't think I need to track the stacks health too much here. What do we have? Where is our bio? Here it is. Okay, so we've got a couple of medics. This one's having a little bit of a conniption. And plenty of turrets here. So I think we're looking in a pretty solid spot. Supplies are pretty even. In fact, the Zerg's ahead in supply. A little bit concerning. Just took hits here without getting any damage on anything. Doesn't seem to be able to find an opening as of yet. Using his map control though to take a third base seems to be the plan. That's why it's positioned this drone here. Artosis scanning, probably trying to find that third base. Queen's Nest on the way. I have not seen lurker aspect being researched. So we always keep our eye out in the unlikely event that we run into a crazy Zerg. Hive is on the way, sub 8 minutes. This could well be a crazy Zerg. Does take his third. Couple of Sunkens in the event that Artie moves his somewhat threatening bioforce across the map. A bit of a split up here between these marines, so these ones are going to get picked off. They've been kind of split off from the rest. A lonely muta here as well. Lonely marine. Trying to get his units together. I think that is a challenge with control groups and marines in particular, is just getting all of the units to stay together. Looks like Artosis wants to push here. Generally speaking, he's looking for his third base. Don't think he's scanned here. He really wants to find it, so I think that's what he's wanting to push. Looks like he's scanning the natural, seeing the Sunkens there. And he's in danger of getting surrounded. Let's keep an eye on this. Here come these lings. Going down here, I think he's just assuming that this base must be here. Also, can someone tell me why he's chosen to add this ladder account? He's done Velks, he's done the Zookeeper, he's done BSL_Artosis, obviously when he's doing BSL qualifications, but where does this random one come from? There must be a story behind this. picking off a medic. Just seeming a bit indecisive in this game. Not really sure what he wants to pressure. If he just walked over here, the space would be not protected by lurkers. He'd only be worried about the muter stack. Here do come some more muters. Zerg has played this entire game simply with things. And he's making ultras. So that he has gone crazy Zerg. And it looks like he's going to get away with it. So, Crazy Zerg's definition basically is skipping lurkers and going straight to ultras. And looks like now that his ultras are out, and he's getting his ultra upgrades, it's going to take a relatively easy fourth base. And this is, I mean, he just leaves his units here. These are all, I mean, this is what we have. We have this stranded pod of marine bio that is just going to get wrecked. And then a whole bunch of other marine bio that's kind of just chilling here. So this is going to be the demise of this bio. Bye-bye. A lovely thumbnail candidate. And here do come the ultras. Those are the vessels here, so the radiates on the ultras will obviously help a lot. Looks like he's going to try and take on the natural here with the... Oh, army splitting up. So we've got some units here, some units here. Seems to be going okay, actually. We have a ghost as well. That's pretty cool. Defensive matrix. Really big battle. More ultras, more lings. Didn't see any irradiates go down there. He's getting cloaked for his ghost. So he seems to have some sort of dastardly plan for his ghost all those things. This science vessel is not long for this world. What's he's made trying to do a nuke? Wow. Are we going to get Artosis? That would be very cool if we could. Nice whack of reinforcements, but the scary thing here is Zerg is ahead on supply with fewer workers, so he's got plenty of army running around. Now, how do I keep track of a naughty ghost? Can't tell if this nuke is actually armed or not. Here we come! Ooh, wow. This is so much crazy Zerg here. The ghost has arrived. He seems to be on his way. We'll keep an eye on him later. First, he's going to need enough units to tidy up his ultras, and there's just more and more and more coming. I don't think my nuke is going to go off, I'm afraid. Come on, help! Oh, a lot of these ultras are pretty red. I'm using several ACVs here. He's going to try and get the nuke off.
Nuclear launch detected.
So here we have Artosis. One ultra left. I think he'll hold up, but there's more coming. Don't want to miss the nuke though.
Boom. Ugh. Very anticlimactic indeed. It's more like a whip. Alright, I'm still waiting on the feedback as to whether I should do them as separate games or all together. This game was played on the 30th of December. They matched again on the 31st, so one day after. So let's see what, if any, adjustments Artosis made in the second game these guys played. Okay, we're back. This time on Metropolis. Just reflecting on that first game, felt like the Zerg was allowed to get up to Ultra Tech relatively unharassed. That bottom right base was never really pressured, and while that Zerg did have a fair number of meters, I think Artie could possibly have found a way to pressure there, or at least force out some Sunkens to slow his opponent down. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts there on any adjustments Artosis could have made, and that, to be honest, was probably one of the worst nukes in the history of nukes. So that's definitely getting a mention in the in the video somewhere. I'm just trying to figure out, because the two themes of this series thus far, well, at least from game one, is that it's Crazy Zerg and it's Nuketosis. So maybe we call it Nuketosis plays against Crazy Zerg or something like that. Well, it will 100% depend, of course, on what Mr. Krisky's got in store for us here in game number 2, where he looks like he's intending on just going with a 12 hatchery once again, and looks like Artosis is going to go with. Is he going to do a 14 CC? Woo! You JK boy. Doesn't even have any scanning information. Just baller, man. As the Yanks would say. Baller. Very baller indeed. I like it. Cool to see, man. Do some bullshit. Let's go. Gonna first scout him with his drone and be like, what the hell are you doing? Making a command center here, you cheeky boy. Gonna harass the SCV that is making said command center. It's gonna have to switch. Which he does. No, he doesn't. Just attacks the drone that was doing the harassing. How many hit points we got here left? 20. Okay. So I think that SCV should be safe and sound. His buddies have helped that, but it's a very effective harassment. So these two SCVs would have just been blissfully, one of them would have been mining, the other one would have been building the depot. And he's keeping this. Oh, he kills him. Okay, so sometimes too much of a good thing. It tends to have the opposite effect. So that actually works out very nicely for Artosis. He's got a good economic edge here. He's making a second Rax on the high ground, and he's got his 14 command center, and I think he's going to be very safe. His opponent is going Lair. So let's see what adjustments, if any, our Zerg friend makes here after scouting Artosis' build pretty early. Okay, so we're getting money, now we're getting our gas. And we can probably go eBay after this barracks, I reckon. I don't know the build that well, but I'm going to guess that he's doing something fun. There we go, Slots' Academy. So it all seems like the bio-based Terran. Now the fashion at the moment, and I saw this when I was watching Mr. JJZ's channel, is the Terrans are doing Valkyries. Now Scan plays with Valkyries, and I think Fantasy is also doing it. I've cast a game of Scans quite recently where I speak about him as a micro wizard. It's on the channel. And it was the very first time I'd seen it done, and it's being done more and more. And it's very cool. And I think I heard JJZ say, I need a shorter name for him, because saying all three of his letters actually makes his name really long to say. Mr. Jay-Z, no. Canadian Jay-Z, no. Ah, crap, I'll figure out something. Mr. J, no. Anyway, that guy was saying that he hopes that Artosis will give the Valkyrie style a try. He probably has, just found that he doesn't like it, but it is very cool. and it is definitely proving to be an effective counter to the Mutilus Open, which the ladder Zergs have got so polished now that it's really limiting a lot of what the Terrans can do at this level. That being said, at higher levels, you see a lot of the Terrans do the forward racks, expand opens, and they're the ones actually applying pressure on the Zerg players. So a lot of this also does come down to the crispness of your execution and all these sort of nuanced things. But all things aside, in terms of pros, not pros, it would just be cool to see Artosis try something different. So we've got a couple of linging around. Get rid of the panel now, just have better visibility. I don't really want to see the health bars or anything right now. Turrets coming up. We've actually moved our racks in production all into one central spot. We should be able to get another turret up soon. Very crisp from Artie. He didn't take any damage from the mutas in the first game either. So that definitely wasn't the reason why he lost. He lost because his opponent got up to Crazy Zerg. And also he kind of moved out and just sort of sat there in a random corner with his units. Which wasn't in of itself the reason why he lost, but I think not pressuring the third when there is a narrow window to do so as Terran, against Crazy Zerg specifically, is in my somewhat uneducated opinion, where I think the problem is coming from. Getting a couple of ACVs here. Did lose a meter. I definitely like this adjustment to the volume. It's actually much easier, even just to, as silly as it sounds, it's not easy to concentrate. He's not doing Crazy Zerg this time, guys. He is going Lurker. So a different approach from Mr. Krisky. So we have now got a bit of a map presence, but once again we're just moving straight back. Our Zerg doesn't have a third. We did force out the Sunkens, which is good. Absolutely no dramas there. That's spot on. Is pretty much exactly what you want as a Terran. Of course, when the units split off and you lose a couple of medics, not ideal. Doesn't have a bunker here. Does have the 5 racks and the factory, so he's getting up to Vessel Tech. It's just going to be a standard SK build from Artosis. And looks like he's just going to try and pressure the natural here. I think he's probably got the numbers. The Lurkers popped just in time, but does hit the scan and targets down the Lurkers really nicely. The back end here, the mutas have kind of slowed this all down, and I think Zerg's going to hold. Supplies are now pretty even. I don't know if that trade went well enough. Artosis could, if he knows this is here, at least spread the Zerg out a little bit, although these mutas are probably enough to deal with the bio that's currently on the map. There is plenty more though that's coming out, so potentially if you could consolidate these forces and press here, that could be good. Does have enough protection with the rallying barracks and his turret placement, I think. And so he does find the magic promised land, but only 5 marines here against 2 lurkers. And it looks like that's going to be enough. So 3 lurkers do get up here. And I think the mutas though are going to tidy this up. He's not sending reinforcements to this spot. And so I think the hatch will be saved quite easily. It's the right idea there. Unfortunately, just didn't quite have the critical mass to push that position. So where do we go from here is the question. So it does have now one lurker on the high ground protecting this base and doing a little drone transfer. Doesn't have Hive yet, almost does. I think Hive enables you to build Niduses and then reinforcements become a lot easier. A couple of lurkers now and a little bit of map control being pursued by our Zerg. And looks like he now wants to push. Oh no. Please don't tell me he's going to put his lurkers on hold position. Please don't be in hold position. No, they're not in hold position. Don't think it's going to matter much though. Dives in here. Clears the deck beautifully. So the vessel's obviously giving the detection needed to clear the lurkers. The engagement looked a little scary for RT in the beginning, but had more than enough forces there, and I think he's going to push. And I think his instinct to push here is right. If you're going to radiate these lurkers, which he absolutely does, 3 Sunkens is not going to be nearly enough to hold this. He's got a big force of units here. And here we go, he's going to dive in on these Sunkens, shredding through these 2 Sunkens pretty quickly. I mean, these are plus 1-1 infantry units, and there is no chance in hell that our Zerg recovers from this. So I think Artosis is going to get his revenge, even though his nuke didn't hit, and he surrendered to Crazy Zerg. He gets his revenge. Good on you, Artie. Good comeback. Fun little series. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a third game of theirs. It would have been really cool to make this a best of 3. But I like sticking with the stories narrative where we have a little bit of a continuity and story between the 2 players. So if you do enjoy this format, please do leave a comment and let me know. And I'll be back. I'm trying to get myself as good as, or as frequent as 5 times a week. So if I'm doing some of these shorter games, I'm doing a few more games at night, I'm hoping to try and achieve that. I'm really having fun. I'm really appreciating the people that are showing up and watching and commenting, particularly on the Artosis games. It really means a lot to me, guys. So thank you for doing that. And until next time, I will see you soon. Take it easy.